Imagine growing up with two father figures who teach you completely opposite things about money. One says, study hard, get good grades, and find a safe job. The other says, understand money and make it work for you. That contrast is the heart of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's not really a book about income. It's a book about mindset. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down the key lessons that can completely transform how you think about money. Because the biggest difference between Rich Dad and Poor Dad wasn't how much money they made. It was how they thought about money. Poor Dad valued job security and a predictable paycheck. His path was simple. Get a job, work hard, earn promotions, save money. He believed long-term security came from stability, not from investing or building assets. Rich Dad thought very differently. He valued financial education and freedom. His path focused on building assets that pay you over time, on understanding cash flow, not just income, and on creating opportunities instead of depending on job security. Both men were smart. Both worked hard. The difference wasn't effort. The difference was financial literacy, how they thought about money, risk, and opportunity. And that mindset gap explains why two people earning the same income can end up with completely different financial lives. The first lesson hits hard. The rich don't work for money. That sounds backwards, right? But here's the key distinction. Most people are driven by two emotions, fear and greed. Fear of not paying bills pushes us to work harder. And once we get paid, greed kicks in. We start thinking about all the things we want to buy. This cycle repeats for decades, and it creates what's called the rat race. The wealthy break this cycle. Instead of trading time for a paycheck, they focus on building systems that generates cash flow. They don't work just to earn, they work to learn or to build assets. So here's the real takeaway. Stop asking, how can I get a raise? And start asking, is there another way to solve this problem without simply working more hours? Lesson 2 covers the single most important rule in finance and the real secret to wealth. Know the difference between an asset and a liability. It sounds simple, but most people get it wrong. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. Now here's the controversial part. Your house is often a liability, not an asset. Why? Because it costs you money every month, such as taxes, insurance, and maintenance. To build wealth, you need to put your money into real assets. Things like stocks, businesses, income-producing real estate, or intellectual property. The middle class buys liabilities thinking they're assets. The rich buy real assets. And the financially free build a life where most of their income comes from assets, so their job becomes optional. Lesson 3 separates your profession from your business. Your profession is what you do from 9 to 5 to pay the bills. Your business is what you do to build your asset column. Even if you have a job, your job is not your business. Your real business is the collection of assets you build over time. Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, used to ask people, "What business am I in?" Everyone answered, "Burgers." He said, "No, I'm in real estate." Because he understood that the franchise locations were the real source of wealth. The lesson is simple. Keep your day job if you must, but start minding your own business immediately. Use your spare time and extra income to acquire assets, not just to pay off credit cards. Start a side hustle. Invest regularly. Build small income streams. That's how you escape dependence on a single paycheck. Lesson 4 reveals the wealthy's secret weapon. The rich understand the legal system better than the poor. The biggest secret? The corporation. It's not a big building. It's a legal structure, often just a folder of documents. Why does this matter? Because the rules are different. An employee earns money, gets taxed, and lives on what's left. Corporation earns money, spends on expenses first, and is taxed only on what remains. This isn't cheating, it's understanding the system. By learning the rules, the wealthy legally protect their money and reduce how much they pay in taxes. Without financial education, most people never learn these rules, and it costs them years of earning power. Lesson 5 is about creativity and inventing money. Opportunities aren't usually seen with your eyes, they're seen with your mind. The poor wait for opportunities, the rich create them. Rich Dad teaches that opportunities aren't rare. The ability to see them is. Where most people see risk, the financially educated see potential. This lesson is about financial intelligence. It's the ability to see a deal where others see a disaster. Maybe it's buying a distressed property, fixing it, and selling it. Maybe it's seeing a gap in the market. Money itself isn't real. It's an agreement. If you can spot value that others miss, you can literally invent money. Money is created through solving problems, spotting trends, taking calculated risks, and building systems. Creativity plus knowledge equals wealth opportunities. Lesson 6 focuses on skills. Most of us specialize too narrowly. We get very good at one small thing. But Rich Dad suggests knowing a little about a lot of things, especially the core management skills, cash flow, systems, and people. And the most important skill of all, sales and marketing. If you can't sell your product, your service, or yourself, you'll never become wealthy. Don't take a job just for the paycheck. Take it for the skills it forces you to master. Poor Dad believed in specializing. Rich Dad believed in learning many skills. To build wealth, you must develop sales skills, communication, investing knowledge, leadership, and money management. Skills compound. The more you learn, the more valuable you become, not to an employer, but to yourself. Lesson 7 is about obstacles. People don't fail financially because they don't earn enough. Even with financial knowledge, 5 things can hold you back. Fear, especially fear of losing money. Cynicism, listening to people who say it won't work. Laziness, often disguised as being too busy. Bad habits, like paying yourself last. And arrogance, thinking what you don't know doesn't matter. To grow financially, you must fight these internal barriers. Wealth starts with inner growth first. So, how do you actually start? The book gives us a roadmap. You don't need money to begin. You need awareness and small daily actions. Find a reason bigger than reality. A strong why, like freedom for your family. Choose daily. Every dollar is a choice. Choose your friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas and growth, not just complaints. Pay yourself first. Even when money is tight, put money into your asset column before paying bills. That pressure will force creativity. Start by tracking cash flow. Build an emergency fund. Invest small amounts consistently. Create something of value. Learn one new skill every month. Financial freedom starts with mindset, not bank balance. Lesson 9 is pure action. Stop doing what isn't working. Look for new ideas. Learn from people who've done what you want to do. Make offers. Think big. Because action beats inaction. Every time. You can't learn to ride a bike by reading a book about physics. You have to get on the bike. Opportunities are everywhere. Most people just aren't trained to see them. If you choose to think differently about money, learn the language of assets and cash flow, and take small, consistent actions, you can reshape your financial future starting today. This book is not a get-rich-quick manual. It's a manual for rewriting your brain's operating system. It teaches that wealth isn't about high income. It's about assets and financial intelligence. So let me ask you, which lesson resonated the most? Are you stuck in the rat race, or are you minding your own business? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to start your financial journey, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.